Let the circle be unbroken. Greetings, family. I can't see you guys. I just see numbers. I don't see names. Again, I'm working with this new thing here, but we're gonna keep it rolling. I just wanted to come to you guys. Hey, Sunny Skies. Yeah, I can see when you comment, but usually, on my phone, when people come in, I can see their name, but I can't see you unless you comment. Peace, Mabuya. Vlad, hello. Greetings, family. Thanks for joining me. I'm hoping we can have a fireside couch chat on this stormy evening. I'm over here and it's storming. I'm here in a thunderstorm and outdoors. And I'm just kind of watching the scene, the whole social scene going on in this cyber world. And, got me thinking about some things and thinking that maybe we could have a converse about drama. Are we addicted? What y'all think? Are we addicted to drama out there? I'm watching this whole Kwame Brown thing go play itself out. And I'm watching how so many others are jumping on, the bandwagon surrounding that. And I'm watching how it's like it's almost as if I'm watching how people are using these type of scenarios to help boost their own ratings and numbers and things like that. It's like, okay, that's the hottest thing that's being discussed right now, so I need to jump on that too and have my say about it as well, and that way other people will pay attention to me too. And so I'm watching all that go on and play itself out, and I'm like, we have the team of folks who just enjoy the teardown. We look at it and we laugh, and I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong or good or bad. I've seen a couple of videos about the Kwame thing only because I like to be up on what people are interested in, And what I see from my perspective is um, another brother um, who has a lot of trauma, has dealt with a lot of trauma. Clearly, you can just tell just based on how he chooses to converse, and that he just had it up to here, and he blew his lid. And then that one thing led to another, and it's fascinating to me how this social media thing worked, because it's like social media can be like any other addiction. That whole addicted to fame, like a lot of the celebrities and things like that. Sometimes people don't, it ain't, for some folks, it ain't about the money for them. It's about the name recognition and other people screaming their name and singing their praises and paying attention to them. And that can give you a rush in and of itself, right? And so social media can be no different in that avenue. So you can become addicted to people, all, you know what I'm saying, the numbers. Oh my God, look, I got all these thousands or millions or hundreds of thousands of people watching me, and that gives people a rush. And so, I mean, and I'm just, I pride myself on being one who likes to get to the root causes of our issues, because I understand that unless we realize why we do the things we do, we'll continue doing what we've been doing. It's only until you do sort of like a out of body experience and take yourself out of your body and look at yourself critically, and how you behave and react to things, and really analyze and study yourself, is when you come to understand yourself better. And so I find that a lot of times we do things and we react in different ways, and without even understanding that a lot of the things that we do stems from trauma, stems from childhood trauma, stems from trauma from our mamas and grandmamas and fathers and grandfathers. But we don't recognize that because we don't ever take the outer body experience and look at things critically. And so we go on and maneuver, and then what happens is when everybody else around us is behaving in the same ways we are, then our trauma becomes normalized. It becomes normalized behavior at that point because, oh well, you know what's wrong with me? Because my neighbors act like me, my cousins act like me, my mama act like me, and we doing just fine. So you know what I'm saying? So we don't ever see our behaviors anything wrong. And so I'm watching these beefs between these brothers, and like I said, I want to reiterate. I heard Kwame, and I'm not speaking of him in particular because he just one out of millions. You know what I'm saying? Of us that's filled with trauma. We all got some issues, and I say that those of us, you cannot grow up, be born and bred in a society such as this, and think that you just fine. Psychologically, it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? We are in one of the most psychotic places on earth. And to think that, you know what I'm saying, that you can live out your life no matter how you was raised, whether in the church or whether, you know what I'm saying, you were sheltered by parents or whatever the case may be. None of that matters. It's still an upside down, topsy-turvy society as it relates to sanity. And we can go into that. That's a whole nother story for another day. But again, the reality is all around us. But unless we take that out-of-body experience and take a look around and see critically, take the blinders off and see things for what they are, we don't see it. We think everything is fine because this is all we know. We're born in this society. We're raised in this society. We turn on the TV, and that's the influences of the society, the movies, the TV, at school, you know what I'm saying? At church, at our social settings, everything. So we normalize insanity. And so when I look at the Kwame scenario and I see how a lot of us become excited to watch these brothers tear each other down in the public sphere, it saddens me. It saddens me that we can't just get together like civilized people. And even if you have a beef or concern, because he got some legitimate gripes, you know what I'm saying? He got some real legitimate gripes. And we all ain't gonna behave and respond in the same manner either. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, how is what's happening benefiting us? And I'll wait. Anybody who want to jump in there and let me know, because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing the beneficial part of what's going on. So if brothers in the public sphere tearing each other down, calling each other names, dogging each other out, you know what I'm saying, is benefiting us as a whole, let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, because maybe I'm wrong. And then I watch how things is drastically changing all around us, and we look to things like that for entertainment. A lot of us, we can't wait to get on it and hear what he got to say next. Ooh, who we going? What he say? What is it? The mama's cooking. Who gonna get the mama's cooking next? I can't wait. Yes, it's almost like turning on your favorite soap opera. In the meantime, these are real lives. In the meantime, nobody, who's going to step to Kwame and ask him, is he okay? You know what I'm saying? Are you okay? What do you need? It sound like, you know what I'm saying, you dealing with some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And some people clearly hurt you. Your own people clearly hurt you. You know what I'm saying? He might not say it in that way, the way I'm saying it, but it's clear that brother is hurting. So instead of attempting to heal the pains and the L's on all sides, we looking for the next mama's cooking. Who gonna get it next? Because because that drama makes us feel good. And that is what's most concerning to me, personally. So anyway, I just want to put that out there because I'm wondering how y'all feel. Are we addicted to drama? Yeah, Babuya, that's the topic. Yeah, Brown, he's been holding back from years. And think about that then. Then think about how long that brother has been holding all that in. You said for years. How do you think he felt walking around for years feeling that way? We clearly know how he feels because he's very expressive these days. So imagine somebody having to go walk around feeling all that inside for years. That's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's not healthy. And that's what normally happens. And when people walk around with all those emotions for years, and then one day, they're like a ticking time bomb. And then they blow up, and we never, ever, ever address the real elephant in the room, which is, you know what I'm saying, the whole, it's like the crabs in the barrel scenario. It's like, well, how the hell we get in this barrel? If we crabs in it, we didn't put the crabs didn't put themselves in this barrel. And see, that's the main concern I have, is that we so busy going at each other over and over and over and back and forth and ripping each other to pieces that we always miss the hand that threw the crab in the barrel. The mice in the cage, the rats in the cage that's fighting against one another. How the hell the rats get in the cage to begin with? And why don't we ever address that? Why don't we ever address that? And I think because we don't necessarily do the outer body experience to be able to look at things critically enough to see what's really going on while we tearing each other down. Because if we're tearing each other down, we can't be building up. That's the total opposite. So if we're tearing each other down, we're not building up. And if we're not building up, we're remaining stagnant in a place. And so, what are we doing? Brown says, yes, we're addicted to drama and conflict. And I don't think we understand that that's a result of trauma. That's a result of trauma. It's when you normalize traumatic experiences. This is how it looks. It looks unhealthy because it is. It is, and we can't recognize that it's unhealthy because we don't know that we're dealing with trauma. In a couple of weeks, Dr. Naeem Akbar is going to be on our program, and we're going to kind of get into this. I asked if he would please come, and it took me some coaxing to get that brother to come on to our program, and he finally agreed. And we're going to talk about the black on black blame psychosis. Same concept, and this was a concept that I thought about even before this whole Kwame Brown thing got popular, because I see it. He ain't the first, this ain't the first incident. I see how we point the finger at each other We blame each other. We point the finger at each other. And the real, um, and so, and the one who put us in this cage goes unscathed. We don't ever address the root cause of our trauma. So the brother, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Breaking the Chains of Psychology. You see me trying to work this camera. He wrote this book. This is a powerful book. I would recommend, and all of his books seem to be. I have two out of, I think he wrote maybe 4 or 5. But these are it's not a lot of reading at all. But this is a powerful read. I highly recommend. He also wrote The Community of Self, Dr. Naeem Akbar. Okay, and then he has another book out called Know Thyself. Um, um, but he's going to come on. If you're not familiar with Dr. Naeem Akbar, definitely uh, Google him or go to YouTube, so you can see a few of his videos. He comes highly, highly recommended. And he probably better than most out there can really break this down for us. So to a place where we can really understand what we're dealing with and how all this beefing, how it further divides us. And if we are becoming further divided, then that means that we're being weakened, further weakened. You know, we're not coming together. We're not getting closer to in unison. We're getting further apart. And disunity breeds slavery, family. That's how, you can't enslave a strong, mighty nation of people. You can't do that. The only way you can enslave a nation of people is if they are fragmented and disunified, because at that point they're weak. So again, I'm saying this because I don't think we recognize how we walk our own selves into a gas chamber, because we become addicted to things that are harmful to us, deadly harmful to us, and not just to us, to our children, because our children have to inherit um, everything we leave behind. And so if we ain't in a position, or ain't even attempting to get in a position to advance, to further advance our cause, to leave this place a better place than when we found it, you know what I'm saying? To reach higher heights, to be elevated, to move forward, you know what I'm saying? All those forward moving motions. If we're not doing that, then we're doing the total opposite. And if we're doing the total opposite, that means our children are going to suffer the consequences of our behaviors. So I just, again, I want us to just have some deeper thought into the things that we say and do out here, especially in the public sphere. These media um, um, things, this media can be dangerous. It can be beneficial in one, and it can be dangerous in another. And things are changing drastically. I mean, things are changing drastically. I jumped on this thing when this whole coronavirus scenario first got kicked off. And I knew then, I said, there ain't nothing going back to no normalcy. And I still say that. This ain't, some of us are waiting for the place where things are going to go, get back to some type of normalcy, if there ever was a thing in Babylon. But things are changing drastically, fast. And if we're not even attempting to position ourselves in a place where we could even prepare, for what's coming up ahead. Because we ain't seen nothing yet. We ain't seen nothing yet, family. And so, a lot of the different things I see, I'm like, we don't really have time. for all these silly games. We really don't. You know, if we serious about um, advancing in the struggle, the censorship is getting a whole lot tighter. The rings are getting tighter and tighter in that arena, and we, a lot of us not paying attention to that either. So many of the things that America was once known for and could pride herself in are changing. No more. You know what I'm saying? This whole land of the free scenario. It's censorships all over the place, and this whole coronavirus thing and the whole vaccination thing took it to a whole different level, because you get one side of the narrative these days, because so much of the media, even the social media, um, on the television, all those are corporate owned, corporate ran, corporate ruled. And so it's like, if there's a narrative that's out there that goes in opposition to what the owners of these media platforms wanting you to know, then they'll just shut your voice down. It's dangerous, because knowledge is power. It's information. It's an information war on information going on currently. And so if you only have one side of the narrative, that's that's brainwashing. That's mental enslavement. It's the same scenario where when we were in chattel enslavement and we weren't allowed to read and write. Why? Why wouldn't you allow another person to read or write? It's because the more information that you get, the more knowledge you obtain, it becomes a challenge and damn near impossible to be a slave. You can't enslave somebody that's on the same platform as you when it comes to knowledge and understanding, and you get all that through information. And so, you hold that from them. No, you can't read this book. You can't write, because I have to be above you mentally. And I'm saying, and so it's the same thing. So if you're only just getting one side of the whole, the information airwave, then you're crippled. You're crippled in a way, mentally. And so, and I'm watching how it all go down, and a lot of us, we don't recognize, some of us like to beat up on our people and call them stupid and ignorant and dumb. No, a lot of us is just, we don't know. We don't know that we don't know. Our people don't realize what's really going on right in front of them. Why? Because it's a lot of distractions. There's so many things out here to distract you from really understanding, really deeply understanding how far this rabbit hole goes. You know what I'm saying? I freaking dedicated my life at this point to breaking down the narrative and feeding it back to the people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sit down one day and make a executive decision that this is how my life is going to go. I honestly believe it with all my heart and soul that I'm guided in that way. I used to fight it every day, waking day of my life. You know what I'm saying? And I just gave up fighting one day because I realized that, the universal forces was pushing me in this direction. And so I pay attention to a lot of things that most of the general public ain't even thinking about, but I do that in, systematically, deliberately, purposely. I'm reading all kind of books and watching all kind of things, and I'm on different platforms that most of you guys would be repulsed by and not paying attention to, and like all those Trump right wing and things like that. And, I study both sides, and because I understand that I have to have the full spectrum, the full understanding of what's going on from every single angle in order to make an informed decision, in order to have full clarity. And then once I get full clarity, then I'm able to break it down to its minute matter, to a simplicity way, and bring it back to the people. You know what I'm saying? But I can't do that if all I'm paying attention to is Democrats. But I can't do that if somebody that don't make me feel good, I ignore them and I don't want to hear nothing they got to say. You know what I'm saying? I can't maneuver in emotionalism that way because I understand I'll never get the full picture that way. So I know I kind of flipped off God, but I just need y'all to understand a little clearer what we dealing with. Oba says, Kwame, like a lot of other brothers and sisters, are suffering from trauma. We all are. We all are. And it just comes out differently. And you're definitely on the right track in bringing Dr. Naeem Akbar on the open discussion. I believe that Kwame's healing would require a sit down with Dr. Akbar, whom I admire. There's a lot of brothers and sisters and elders, especially out here currently, that got what it takes to help guide us in the right direction. It's a lot. And those are the ones I normally hone in and sit at their feet. You know what I'm saying? Because, we all got issues. Every last one of us. I want to reiterate that because I don't, the minute you start thinking you good and you better and you different, you know what I'm saying, is you lose sight. So don't ever take yourself out of the equation and put yourself above the people, because we all in this thing together. I'm right here in the belly of the beast, along with a Dr. Naeem Akbar and all those like him who understand, who have a deeper understanding of what it is we're dealing with, and that comes by way of proper study. Yeah. I was saying the censorship is at an all-time high, and how dangerous that is, and it's dangerous in this day and time to be quiet and allow fear to muffle your voice. You know what I'm saying? I think it's proper protocol and everything that we do. It should be. You know what I'm saying? We can't be out here reckless, in what we do. You know what I'm saying? But we can't be out here shy and timid either. You know what I'm saying? Because people are dying. Our people are dying out this joking. Not just our people either. You know what I'm saying? It's not just our people either. It's a serious agenda at play. And those who behind it are, they ain't playing no games. They ain't out here playing no games for entertainment. It's serious for them. This world is but sport and play. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's always been. It's just a whole nother era and generation of sport and play. And I think about how every great nation must fall. This ain't, this earth been around for billions of years, and there's been people on it for a long, long time. And so every nation on earth that once was the superpower of their time have come to an end, family. It's come to an end. So it's to expect anything to be different is we're only kidding ourselves. We're only fooling ourselves. So then we need to ask the question, then when? And if you're paying attention to the signs, you'll see that all the signs are pointing to the end is near. You can take it, you can leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? When you study history, the way those who study history do, come back and share with you what happened, what caused the collapse of other nations, what was happening in the land right prior to the collapse, and then you start studying, and then you start studying what's going on around us today. You start putting them twos and twos together, and start painting a clear picture. Yeah, that's the importance of history, because the more history you get under your belt, the clearer the future becomes. You're able to see clearer what it's like. It's linear. It's all linear. So it's like, okay, you had A, B, C, 1, 2, 3 back there. What can you expect to happen up front? If you watched all that, all that went on back then. So history gives you a better, a clearer mirror into the future. And so when you see how all the nations have failed prior to, that is in written history that we can actually have a recollection. We do have a recollection of. Then we see the comparisons. So, and also know this, that just because nations come and go and fall and collapse, that don't mean that the total destruction of all the people. There's always been people walking amongst us. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't no scenario where every last person on earth was wiped out clean. Then how do you restart? So there was always a position where there was some people who were spared to rebuild, to recreate. And so then you would, a smart person would ask the question, okay, then what caused some people to be wiped out and demolished and the others spared? Again, that's questions for your own inner thought. Those some questions that if I were you, I would be sitting down with self and really thinking about and really recollecting, because we're in some serious times, family. Whether you know it or not, the reality is we're in some serious times. And I saw something today on Instagram. Somebody posted something, some popular group, and the meme said something like, you can do they say, do whatever you want, just don't hurt nobody else. And they got a lot of likes and thumbs up and yeah. And I thought about that. I'm like, I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that, because there's laws in nature. There's laws to living a wholesome, healthy life. And you can't be out here doing whatever you want in this life, especially in this belly of the beast, and think that you're not going to have any repercussions and ramifications. We don't even recognize some of the things that we do that hurt people. We like, do whatever you want, just don't hurt nobody. Doing whatever you want in this life without adhering to the laws of nature is hurting other people, whether you realize it or recognize it or not. That's a story for another day. Folks out here attempting to serve two masters. We think we can be of this world and also be I don't know, how am I trying to say this? I think that a lot of us think that the way we live our lives and do the things that we choose to do on a regular basis is not hurting anything or not hurting anybody or not hurting the earth. Um, but almost everything we do is in complete and total opposite of the laws of nature. You know what I'm saying? The things that we don't even think about. I think of like, going to fill our gas tank up every day to go to work. And there's millions of us that do that. And so that means millions of all that what do you call it? All the stuff that the gas releases out into the ozone in the atmosphere and what that's doing to the earth and the ozone layer and how that's coming back and affecting us with you know what I'm saying, breathing in all those fumes and causing the ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? We don't realize when we go out here, we buy furniture on a regular basis because that's what they say we must do, right? And build houses and chop down trees all over the place because we need wood. We need wood to build with. We need wood to burn in our fireplace, and you know what I'm saying. We just need wood for all the things that our creature comforts, and we don't realize that the more trees we chop down is affecting the air and the breathing, and the more trees that go, there's a lot of other things in the ecosystem that collapses right along with it that we need to survive. So again, I say this is the things that we do, things on a regular, myself included, basis without even thinking subconsciously, that it's like we contributing to our own demise without even understanding it fully, because we don't realize that we're so all connected. We're all connected. We're connected to our enemies, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Everything in the system is connected, and so we can't. I read something recently. They said um, something like, don't quote me, but it was something like 30% of all the species in the ocean is obsolete, has become extinct, and that's just the ocean. You get to a lot of the insects and a lot of the the wildlife, the birds and things like that. Same thing is happening all over us, all around us. But it's happening at such a gradual pace that we're not even, too much paying attention. And so we just go on about our regular lives without realizing that the things that we do on a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis, is helping to bring on the collapse. That's real. I don't know. I'm only one person, and I contribute myself. You know what I'm saying? I try to, be cognizant and be aware of some of the things that I do, but we're in a position now to where we're so dependent and reliant on this system and the way it runs and the way it operates, and not just us, all around the world, that that it's almost darn near impossible. Even if you go off the grid, you know what I'm saying? It's darn near almost impossible, to do things any differently. And I see. I don't know. I don't want to go into that because I might lose you guys. Anyway, caught up. I got a few notes here that I just wanted to talk about tonight. Just stuff that's been weighing on my mind that I wanted to share. That I thought that maybe we could have a conversation about. The locusts are rattling. Yes, Daryl. The locusts are rattling. Every 17 years, right? The locusts come out. I think, I don't think nothing is haphazard. Nothing in nature is haphazard and just happens just because. Mm-mm. Nature ain't built that way. I was asking that question. Me and my friend was out there looking real good. I mean, like really took, looking at the locusts and the big eyes and how they just hang around. Y'all notice that? You know what I'm saying? You have to literally like push it out the way for it to fly or whatever. It just, it's not scared of you. It don't run. It don't fly away when you get close. It just sits. And I'm like, what are you here for? Why are you here? Why do you come up you under the ground all them years? And every 17 years or so, I think it's 17, you come up out of the ground by the millions. You can hear them in my neighborhood. It's like they whole a quartet, a musical, all day long. I'm here they mating, and from what I understand, there's more female locusts than there are males, and it's just fascinating to me how they shed so quickly and then they leave as quick as they come. But why? Why are you here? Why every 17 years? Why are you the only insect that does that? It's fascinating. Hi Oba, I believe you are guided. I read most of his books and passed them on to my son. Yes, same with here. I passed Dr. Naeem's book on to my son as well. Yes, I did because yeah, I've been a big fan of his for a long time, and he's just one of those brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. When you send, definitely join our page, the Empower Hour Talk Show family, and so you can get your chime when we go live when the Dr. Naeem Akbar comes on. And I don't know why I can't find the camera. Yeah, when he comes on, this is a powerful book. This is a this is the kind of like life shifting information, especially when you are like really not aware of what's really going on with us mentally, the trauma and where it stems from, how it originates, why do we suffer from it, why do we carry it on. These are the books to get, because these are life changing concepts that make you go so deep. Get to a point where it becomes impossible to deny. Can't Only a fool denies the truth when they hear it. Only a fool denies the truth when they hear it. And your spirit knows. Your spirit knows when it's hearing the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's your ego that pushes against it. And if anybody who's guided by their ego is a foolish person. Here's another one of his books that I'm about to get in again because I just want to be more. It's been years since I read it, so I want to read it again before he comes on, so we can have I can be more studied on the subject matter. Oba says, I listened to Brother Kwame, and he talked about how bad he was treated by the so-called brothers in the league. Colorism and self-hate, I believe, was also a factor in how he was mistreated. Yeah, and that's why I admire Charlemagne the God these days, and how he came out. It takes a humble person to come out the way he did and apologize to that man the way he did. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need more of. And and I watched Charlemagne. I was talking to our friend about him today too. And I was saying I'm watching his growth over the years, and that has a lot to do with who he's choosing to surround himself with. I'm sure, out of all three of those hosts of that Breakfast Club, he's the one that's spearheading getting all these brilliant minds on the show, like Dr. Claude Anderson, or like Minister Louis Farrakhan, Dick Gregory. You know what I'm saying? All the Ayanna Von Zahn. I mean, you go down and you know what I'm saying? This, he is the one that's pretty. You can tell just by the questions he have and the way he interacts with the guests when they come on, that he's interested in these type of minds. And you cannot focus your attention too long on those type of minds without being influenced by them, right? And so I'm watching his his growth over the years. And I'm like, yeah, that's because that brother's being influenced by some great minds, by some brilliant minds, and you can only get better by doing that. You can only grow, enhance yourself by, and being in that space. So it's some benefits to sitting at the feet of of these brilliant scholars that's out here. They out here. You know what I'm saying? There's always those among us who here's another book I want to mention. Bobby Wright's. It's another small pamphlet of a book. It really is just a pamphlet. The Psychopathic Racial Personality. Why am I having such a hard time zoning in? This book's give you a good understanding of what we're up against. There's so many. Again, I point out all these brilliant scholars because these are our guides. These are the people that help us and guide us into proper understanding, And when we get the proper understanding, then our lives change for the better. Our lives shift for the better. You start realizing all the things that you thought was important. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean a hill of beans. Don't mean a hill of beans when it comes to good living. You know what I'm saying? What that really means. Because you can have the life of an Oprah Winfrey and be miserable as hell. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the money more money than God, and all kind of fancy machines, fancy cars, and houses all over the place, and you know what I'm saying? A beautiful wife or husband, and to look at every day. You can have all that and be miserable as hell inside. And so, what the hell is it all for then? If you really can't, you know what I'm saying? If you pretending your whole life, you know what I'm saying? You got all this stuff, and you know what I'm saying? You claiming you the man, and you the baddest bee, and all that kind of stuff out here, and you know what I'm saying? And really, you go home at night and ball up in the ball and cry your heart out because you so unhappy. Going back to the Kwame scenario, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff he had to endure. Think that man was happy about hearing all them things about himself from his own people? You know what I'm saying? So, which is why it comes out the way it does. And then when it come out, instead of we like, okay, let's try to figure out a way to fix this, we cheer it on. We laugh. It feels good. It feels good to watch a man like that go through that trauma in front of all of us. What does that say about us? That we look forward to the next time he flick off. Family, we sick. We sick out here and don't want to admit it because it don't feel good. We want to feel good, even if it's a farce, a temporary high. We caught up in a lot of distractions. We got a lot of work to do. And I'm not trying to say, I enjoy a good time just like everybody else out there. I really do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that all the days of my life is rolling up my sleeve and doing the work. No, but there's balance. There's balance. I know people personally who all they want to do is have a good time. That's it. You know what I'm saying? They hear me talk like this, they walking the other way. They don't want to hear it. What are you talking about, girl? Play my favorite song. I don't want to hear that. Girl, you know what I'm saying? Where's the party at? Give me a drink. Give me a puff of that weed. You know what I'm saying? And all that is escapism. We running from ourselves. Not even understanding that the farther we run, we can't run to anywhere but into a brick wall. That's the destination. when you running from yourself like that at all times. You know what I'm saying? People jump on and hear something like this. I don't want to hear that. I don't know. I want to see. Nah, I want to laugh. She ain't talking about nothing that's funny. Let me get off of this and go find me a good joke. Yeah, man. A lot of us live our whole lives out like that. I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of distractions out there. It's a lot of things that allow you to do that too. Allow you to, you know what I'm saying? Don't put no work in. And then when the stuff hit the fan, we looking around like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, because there's only a handful of people out here willing to get their hands dirty. Everybody else running around looking for a good time. And so when it's time for, you know what I'm saying, for things to, the serious work to be done, it ain't enough folks doing it. And so we all suffer the consequences because of that. Because again, going back to earlier, my earlier point, we all connected. That's why I become so frustrated. I get it for a lot of the conscious community. A lot of our brothers and sisters in the conscious community get so frustrated, me included. Sometimes I've gotten better over the years of beating up on people all day, every day. That used to be my MO too until I understood better that don't help. That don't help. That don't help nothing. Calling people all kind of names and degrading them and making them feel low and all that kind of stuff because they don't have the understanding you have. I mean, that don't benefit nobody. In fact, that hurts the cause more than it helps it because it's like any other time. Imagine that's like any other person. Imagine doing that. What would happen if you did that to a child all day? What would happen if you tore a child down all day long, told them they were stupid, they ignorant, you fool, you don't know nothing, you stupid, da 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 da. And what do you think that child would eventually become? What I'm saying? You can't. It's the same as a full grown adult. You can't tear each other down all day and expect to get uh, some anything healthy to stem from that. No, that's trauma. That's hurt people hurt people. And so because we hurt inside, we want you to feel that same kind of pain. It's abuse. It's abuse, and we need to learn too that doesn't help none. Our communication skills are lacking. We can get the same points across. What I've learned through some self-discipline is that we can get the same points across without tearing each other down every chance we get. Because you don't want nobody to do it to you. But yeah, assessing our own value. I have here. I don't think we do enough of that. I don't think that we really sit back and ask, how am I helping to make this world a better place? What am I doing? Taking that outer body experience and really looking at your own self critically, nobody else. Nobody don't have time to point the finger and say what Billy and Bob ain't doing and what the white man ain't doing and what the celebrities ain't doing and what the people, the people in the hood ain't doing. No, you. When was the last time you really sat down and said, you know what am I doing with my own life outside of anybody else that's helping to make this world a better place for my children and my grandchildren? And I think we don't assess our own value, and we all have value. Every last one of us have value. Some of us have greater value than others in different ways, in different aspects, but ain't not near one of us ain't come here without a gift. That was a promise. And so, the creator keeps his promises. We may not understand what our gifts are. We may not know, but that don't mean we don't have them. And I think what happens is when we're vibrating low, when we're on a low vibrational frequency, we're really not able to assess ourselves at all, let alone our value, and that's where we find ourselves a lot. We find ourselves vibrating at such a low frequency that we're not even tuned in enough to even sit down and do that. And that breaks my heart. Yeah, we run but we run away from yourself. Where did you go? Where'd that comment go? Where'd that comment go? I think he just erased it. But yeah, we do that. We run from, because it does not feel good. The truth hurts the guilty. My father used to say that all the time. The truth hurts the guilty. So when you know deep down, I tell you, your spirit lets you know. You know what I'm saying? It's the ego that fights against the truth. If you ain't maneuvering in the highest capacity. Ain't nobody gotta tell you. And those who know that about themselves, that's a hard pill to swallow. To sit down and say, you know what, I really ain't contributing much of nothing. In fact, I'm making things worse. I'm out here, tearing down other black people, taking from them, or, hating on them, pulling, all the things that we know. We know who we are in that aspect. And so it don't feel good to sit there. That's why we don't do it and assess ourselves. And so we run. We run because we don't want to feel that, But that is the beginnings of the healing process. You can't get to a better place unless you feel that. You sit in those feelings. Ayala taught me that. She said you got to sit in that pain. However uncomfortable it feels. However uncomfortable it feels, you got to sit in that pain and feel it, because on the other side of that is how the healing occurs. You can't heal something you're not willing to even admit needs healing. You can't even admit there's nothing wrong. You fine. Ain't nothing wrong with you. I'm good. You girl, no what? I'm the bomb. I ain't doing all that. And so you stay in that same spot. How do you get past? How do you maneuver in another in a higher energy frequency if you're not willing to go there emotionally? And so we get stuck. That's why we battle against each other a lot too. That's why we fight against each other so much. And that's why our relationships are so, in shambles. The men with the women, and, we can't get along in a lot of instances. That's why, because we are operating at a low vibrational frequency, and it's a root. If you study the chakras, 7 layers of the chakras, the lowest layer, the sacral chakra, and then the root, the 2 lower chakras. I don't know them all from the top of my head, but it's dealing with low vibrational energy, emotionalism. It's only till you come in higher up those chakra ladders to where you're able to discipline yourself emotionally, that to where you can feel those uncomfortable feelings and not lash out, not feel a need to defend yourself, not feel the need to have to abuse somebody else verbally the way they abused you. You know what I'm saying? You come into a higher level of understanding why you have, you're in the positions you're in. Why that you had to feel what you had to feel. And so you come into a higher level of understanding. But you can never get anywhere near those places until you sit in those uncomfortable places first. Till you know what you know your shit and you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Yep, I know this is who I am, and I know this ain't right. So let me do something about that. But until you get to that point, you're gonna stay in constant denial. And the longer you're in denial about who you really are, you can't heal those traumas. And then if you're not healing your trauma, you one of the ones who's causing all the drama. That's real talk. That's real talk, family. So yeah, we should be constantly working on ourselves, especially in this day and time, because there is nothing promised out here, and things are changing drastically. And it's late. I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? I was on this tip of trying to, show people, especially on my Instagram page. It's like I showed so much concrete evidence about this whole vaccination agenda at play that the media ain't saying, because it's an agenda, so they, all the information that they're shutting down and not getting to the people. And oh my God, it's so much evidence out there. It's too much. And so, for weeks, that's been my main focus. Like, get this information, but I'm coming to a place of understanding now where it's like it's about later for talking. What's the girl, that song she got? I'm just about over being your girlfriend. I'm leaving. Remember that song? Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I'm just about over, this, because if you ain't got the message by now, it's what's not for you to get, and I have to respect that, and I have to understand that everybody ain't gonna be on the same page. You know what I'm saying? So you do what you can to get the word out. That's what all those who were put here for, to get the word out and get the message to the people. After a while, there's an expiration date. That don't go on forever, because it's like it's time these days, it's like time to buckle down and start preparing for the hereafter. Ain't no spooky stuff either. Ain't nobody looking to die and going to the sky, die and going to the sky to some pearly gates and all that kind of stuff. No, right here, after an appointed time, right here after a certain rule is over. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always been throughout the annals of time, the hereafter. So it's time for those of us who understand what's really taking place to prepare for the hereafter. Because we can't keep on, being Paul Revere out here screaming the British are coming, the British are coming. Because eventually the British going to be at your door. You ain't going to need Paul Revere no more to warn you. Because here's the British right here, right at your doorstep. And so that time is coming. It's coming. So, I'm maneuvering into a different space these days and preparing. So it's like we got to get strong out here, family. We got to get strong mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically. I mean, all those leads. It's time to gather some strength. So that's my spiel for tonight. Let me see if anybody else had anything. Hey, Mabuya, thank you. You can't run away from yourself. Bob Marley said escapism. Yeah, that doesn't serve you well at all. It doesn't serve any of us. And I think about the children. It's like we gotta, you know what I'm saying? What are we teaching the children? And we maneuvering in emotionalism alone. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody say nothing to us. And the slightest thing that they say to hurt our feelings, we flicking off. And we calling each other out of name and destroying each other and stuff like that. And the children watching. What the heck do you think they gonna do? What they gonna do when they become your age? They can only do what they've been taught. So you teaching them how to maneuver in emotionalism too. And so, again, we just gotta wise. We gotta be wiser. Humble, and wise. Oh, but yes, I commend Charlemagne for being man enough to apologize to Kwame. Yeah, some people laugh at him or call him a sucker and tell him, oh yeah, he had to do that because, he was scared he was gonna go on him and da da da. How about he just apologized because that was the manly thing to do? You know what I'm saying? That was the big, somebody got to be the bigger person. So maybe he looked at himself and realized that there was some things that, like he said, he was running off at the mouth, and that's what he normally do, and he give out too much information because that's how he's accustomed to doing, and he's attempting to learn to discipline his mouth more lately. And so he had to turn around and apologize to that man. That was big of him. And I admire that because he got a lot of young folk that follow him. And so he's setting an example doing it that way. And I like the fact that, you know what I'm saying, they, people will call you all kind of names. That's what they do. But you still stand on principle. Why is that not a good principle? It used to be that when, if you realize you did caused somebody else harm and you did something wrong and you apologize to them, that was strong principle. But now we done figured out a way to make that, turn that on his head and make that man seem weak and laugh at him and all that kind of stuff. That's what I mean. We really are sick. We are, and when I say that, I'm not trying to say that to hurt nobody's feelings. It's real. We are mentally upside down, not in our right state of mind at all. And it shows and it comes out because the things that are healthy for us, we don't want nothing to do with. We don't want nothing to do with. Dr. Benjamin Banneker studied the cicadas when he was only 17. He was able to witness 3 or 4 cycles of the cicadas, but his research was suppressed because of racism. Yeah, that's real talk. They might have took his research papers and put their own name on it and shot it back out there and got Nobel Prizes and all that stuff for it. That's how they do. I listened to Brother Kwame and he talked about how bad he was treated by so-called brothers in the league, colorism. Yeah, we talked about that. Colorism, all that stuff is real. It's still real to this day, And again, I feel like I'm going over the same things over and over, so I'm going to get off of this thing. But I just wanted to share that, that we are suffering from trauma. And because of the trauma, generational trauma that we're dealing with, causes us to be addicted to drama. And that's real talk, family, and we should look at that under a microscope about ourselves. All right, family. That's all. Take care of each other out there. Peace and love.